Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I have a great rack. I have funeral. There are some anagrams of this, but I think the difference... Well, no, it certainly is better to play flaneur. Let me try something. Typing. Yeah, that works. Okay. Done. I didn't type originally because of my studio setup, which didn't allow me access to a keyboard, and I can't touch type anyway, so I need to look down. But I know some people find it irksome to see me dragging the tiles around, so I will try typing instead. Now, I don't have a great rack. Too many clunky tiles, especially the B and the V. And I'm going to struggle to get rid of both the B and the V, except I can play bevel. It leaves a vowel-heavy rack leave. Whoops. It leaves a vowel-heavy rack leave, but it's quite a nice pair of vowels. They go well with the C. Now I've got the able ending, A-B-L-E, but I can't see a bingo with that. That looks quite good. Cat faces through a C, faciate through an I, seacraft through an R, and the R of flaneur not available. Can't see anything through the N. Another R, but not available. Do I have anything through the K? Can't see anything. And then there's the B and E of bevel. Can't see anything with the B or the E. Well, this is annoying because I think this is close to a bingo. There could even be a 7 here, which would play in column 11. So, how to sort the rack out? There's nowhere really good for my F, which is the tile I want to dump. It would be nice to play AF down here. But CAF not good. I could play feet or feet down here. Am I missing something much better? The K isn't much good unless I'm going to stick the S on the end, and I don't think that's merited. Just wondering about this F. Can't see a way of using my F with it. The Axe Zoo play has really killed the top right of the board unless flaneur gets pluralized. Oh, well, just fat would leave... Oh, just far as it is. That's quite a good 5-letter set. 18 points. And I pick up the J and the Z, which is annoying since my 5-letter leave was pretty bingo-y. And this is a tight board, so I don't have a lot of spots to get rid of them, and I'm certainly going to struggle to get rid of both in one move unless there's an I in open play. I can't see anywhere great for either of the premium tiles, which is annoying. Well, there go... IAB, that's not good. Great. So, my E can go in front of the F, and my J can go in front of jab. That doesn't work. I could play jet. And that's quite good because it's a very tight play. It doesn't provide anything at all for my opponent, and I'm taking out a good spot. 35 points is a good score. And I've got the Z for score next go. And my opponent does not play again, so forfeits the game. Let's see what I missed. So, this is what I started with, possibly Frenula better because it only takes the R back hook. Falana also an interesting possibility because it's duplicating a tile and therefore not providing a useful extra floater, especially the E. My opponent's rack played Axe. This was my rack. I played Bevel, which doesn't even appear on here, probably for good reason, because Beaver in column 10 making Axe looks like a much better play. My opponent's rack, they played Dark, and this was my rack, and Calf is good, so that would have been the play. Keeping AEST, I played FA for 11 fewer points, and Kate's is a better rack leave than Seat, but not 11 points better. And this is where my opponent phonies, and I think it's probably a misplacement, probably intended if and dab. Anyway, and then it was my turn, and I played Jet for 35, which looks fine. It's me to go first. I don't have a bingo, but what I'd like to do is try and get my H or my K on one of these double letter squares. And I haven't seen a way of doing that yet. I could just play QA, getting rid of all the high scoring tiles and the U. I'm just wondering about Cowra, not sure about that. Or what about just Auk? That leaves a pretty decent rack leave and not much for my opponent to go on. 14 points. I draw the second H, which isn't good. This doesn't look bingo-y, but it should be fairly easy to resolve. Basically just playing the tiles I've picked up, or HOH. Would leave a decent rack leave. I don't think H or M go in front of Auk, but they may. Z certainly does. Zol only takes an S after it. Now I can play my HOH play across here, and HOH takes an A afterwards. Well, I'll keep that back in order to take advantage of it and to avoid giving my opponent access to this triple word square. 28 points. That looks promising. I'm not sure about Maunger. I'm certainly not confident enough about it to play it through an I. I would have Maungia, which is probably what I'm thinking of, and Geranium. But is there a 7 here? Well, not many spots available to play it if there is, although it could possibly play in column 12, depending on the overlap. Now I have the L floater in 7th place. Can't see anything there. Okay, so let me sort this rack out. Cow only takes an S after it. What I can do is play Mug for 28, a good score. And the G is quite a useful floater with the rack leave that I have. Well, no high-scoring tiles, and a lot of bingo-y tiles. But is there a 7 here? One isn't springing to mind. The L doesn't look particularly helpful as a floater in Zol. Now, what about the G? Geranial. Does that have an anagram? Well, I think it might, but it's not coming to mind. And geranial doesn't work, so I may not be bingoing. And I'm going to struggle to score with this rack. Okay, a new floater to consider, the V. Valerian, that doesn't work. And again, that may have an anagram, but it's not coming to mind. It'll be annoying if geranial does have a playable anagram, but I'm just not seeing it. So how to sort this rack out? I could play Ava, and that has merit because it's opening up a new bingo lane in column 4 and in row L, and it's keeping this G free, and the G goes well with my rack leave, in particular the I and the N, so this could act as a useful distraction. The downside is the score of only 12 points, but I think I'm going to struggle to score with this rack. Another advantage of playing Ava is that it takes an L in front, and I've got that on my rack. I could play it now, but then I'm getting a suboptimal rack leave. It's better to have more consonants than vowels. Okay, well, I can't see anything through the G, and I can't see a 7, which is annoying, and my opponent bingos. This is not good. And he's used a blank. I'm just wondering if there is a 7-letter bingo here. I don't think there is. And very few floaters to consider, just the G. So how to sort this rack out? A 5-letter play ending in L, possibly? I need to keep the board open. What about a play down from the I? Down from the R, rather, of Wartier? Or maybe across here, ending EM. Can't see anything. Heme doesn't take anything after it that I've got. $15 minutes on my clock, 60 tiles to come. Now, is there really no 5-letter play ending in L? Well, there is. There's Merrill. And this is going to wreck the rack, but I don't think that can be avoided. And it's good in that it's providing a lot of floaters. It's keeping the board open, which is what I want, given that I'm behind. 31 points. Not good. Only one vowel. Just wondering if it does make an 8 through a vowel. Can't see it. Any possibility of that. And my opponent's killed the floaters I've just created and scored well, so he's in a strong position. He's a bingo ahead, and I've got a poor rack. My O could go after X, so I could play lob. It isn't opening the board up, but it is scoring well and sorting the rack out to some extent. 29 points. I would have blinders through an E. But there are very few floaters on this board, and that makes it very hard to keep scoring when you've only got one vowel. But my opponent may also struggle to score. He may be reluctant to play in row M for fear of opening row N. But certainly as the board stands, I'm going to struggle to score. Nothing goes in front of XO. I could play blind and bar, which would be a good score, and sort the rack out. And the board is quite good in a way. I've got the S, and mug takes an S, and ho takes an S. So blind has some merit. 24 points for that. And hopefully I would draw some, but not too many of these A's and E's. Well, my opponent takes out both the S spots, which is good play by him. So if I play blind, he can take that out, and the board's really tight. What I really need to do is open up 2 lanes at once, and that's going to be difficult. It's not impossible that I could catch my opponent without bingoing, so I am going to play blind for 24. Still just the 1 vowel and a very unbingo-y rack. Lava takes an F in front, but that doesn't really open the board up, even if I can get to utilize that hook. I'm wondering about a play across from the V, but then that's going to leave me with 5 consonants, which I don't want. Maybe a play down column 8 onto this O would open the board up, but I can't see a way of doing that. I'm 30 points behind, but my opponent's on turn, so I'm quite a long way behind. I'm wondering about a 3-letter play in row M, which takes an S at the end to open up column 15. But I think the best I could do there would be DAP, keeping F double RS, which isn't good. Still all 3 other S's to come, plus 1 vowel, plus 1 blank rather. Great, well my opponent has not killed row O or row N. Those are quite useful pairs of tiles. But I can't see a way of, well, certainly not a bingoing through there. So what about playing party up here to really open the board up and split up the duplicate R? It's keeping the F, which is non-bingo, which is a shame, and it's not a great score, but it is opening the board up, and it's keeping rows N and O open as well. And I draw the blank, and I have traffics in row E through that A. Likely to be taken. Now, do I have something through the AN? Don't think so. Now G takes an A in front, so my opponent has opened up a bingo lane in row B, which is good. But I need to sort my rack out. I'm only 50 points behind. What about a play of IFF? It keeps a decent rack leave, especially if I draw a vowel. It's a distraction. It takes a Y, 2 Ys to come. It doesn't take an S. It keeps open rows N and O, although slightly restricting them. It does provide a floating F. 17 points is not a bad score with no vowels. So I will go with this, and if I draw even 1 vowel, I should be in good shape. Well, I do, but annoyingly I draw the Q with it. Just looking in rows N and O through those pairs to see if I have a bingo. Can't see one. And there's also PE to consider. So where can I jettison the cue? Ah, well, I can play Trank across here. Great, a 9 timer has been opened, only 22 points for my opponent. The board is starting to open up, which is good. If I play Trank, I'm keeping a decent rack leave, I'm scoring well. And my opponent may try and take out this 9 timer. But that leaves open row B. So the game is not lost. But is Trank the best? Any other spots? Well, I just can't see anywhere for my cue apart from that, so I'm going with that. And I draw the A, which is great. So I've got Deacons in row B. I've got Kostian, which doesn't play. But Deacons does, but doesn't get doubled. I've got Asconce, which also doesn't get doubled. Do I have anything through this C? Great, my opponent's taken it out, which leaves my bingo lane available. Now, if I played through PE, you would have to begin with PE to get doubled. And I can't see anything. I know I've got a bingo in row B because I've got Deacons. I don't think it's worth looking for something through ED because it would have too many overlaps. It's not going to work. It would have to begin with 3 vowels. Nothing's going to end duct. What about the blank as a Y? Can't see anything. What about... Well, a play beginning with J doesn't get doubled. 10 minutes on my clock. Only 18 tiles left. Now, what about row F? G takes a D, R, S, P. L. Z. I'm 60 points behind. Maybe it is a good idea to play in row B, because that will just want A to come. Well, what about a play? Ah, so I have Corsons, and I think I'm going to play this because it keeps the board open. And I think the score is going to be comparable. So Corson's 74. If I played Deacons, yeah, probably about the same. And this is opening up row E. It's opening up row B. My opponent may be tempted to play down column 8 onto the S, but he's going to be providing a ton of floaters if he does. Pretty horrible. I've got Gygots in column 8. My lead is 14 points. It's just 3 scoring tiles to come. So my opponent may be able to bingo himself. Still both Ys to come with the iffy hook. That could be a good scoring spot. 24 points for Gygots if I get to play it. That is a pretty ropey pickup from the bingo. Now Corson's has taken out the A front hook for G, so there really is just the one bingo lane. Okay, Well, annoyingly, I'm not in a position to play through these floaters, and my opponent probably now has got a Y. But if he plays down here, he'll be leaving these floaters alone. So I need to sort the rack out. 8 minutes on my clock. So a play of gig would do that. I don't think either G is useful. 6 tiles left. Wow, what about Vig? That might alarm my opponent. No ends to come. So these aren't actually useful floaters for me, but the score's quite good. I'm only 10 points behind, and this scores 21. Yeah, and although I wanted to play off both Gs, I couldn't see anywhere to do that. What about a play down here making Joe and Peg? So I could play Tog in that spot. Well, that keeps 2 eyes. I definitely don't want to do that. I think this keeps me light on my feet, and I may not need a bingo to win. Okay, that looks pretty good. I've got egoists, nowhere to play it. But there could be something through these floaters, and the remaining tiles not looking so great, although my opponent could easily have a row O play. Yeah. So 31 for him. He's 20 ahead. 1 tile in the bag. Do I have a bingo? It'll be very annoying if I do and I don't spot it. I had Gorsiust and Strygos, and they're both blocked by the J. That is annoying. What about the N? Can't see anything through that. I don't think Stingos is spelt with an E anyway, but doesn't play. The U, not great. Gousty is an adjective, I think. 6 minutes on my clock, 1 tile left. What about through the G, which I was so dismissive of? Can't see anything. Now, what about any floaters I've overlooked? What about the I? Can't see anything. What about the P? Can't see anything. Now there's 1 tile left. I'm 20 points behind. Do I play something like Got? Can I outscore my opponent, or do I need to fish for a bingo? I think that's the point. 22 points for Got. 344. That would put me in a 2-point lead. Well, let me just have a look at this. So if I'm keeping EISS, can I go out? Next go? Well, quite possibly. These floaters of unrips are quite friendly with this rack leave. But there's still an S out there, so my opponent could play something like what was for 25, which is fine. I would still win if I could go out. So Got looks like it could be a winning play. If I fished, how would I do that? Play Tranks? For 17 points. Wow, this is one of the hardest positions to be in Scrabble, to make the right move. I'm still looking for a bingo, but I it's a pretty forlorn search. So the advantage of playing got is I catch up my opponent and I've got a chance of going out. If I go out, I probably win. But is there a way of scoring more? 3 minutes on my clock. If I don't see anything better, I'm going to play got. Well, what about using this trank hook to stop my opponent? So what about a play of was 25 points? Yeah, I think I will do that. I want to be able to go out next go. Still 2 eyes to come, so let me play whist for 26 points. I think I'm going to go with this because it takes out the best S spot for my opponent. Yeah, let me go with this. Right, I can now see my final rack. It's not great. I've got Genoas in row B. I've got a 6-point lead, plus whatever I'll get on count back. So I've got Genoas, which stays available. 33 for my opponent. I get 8. It's probably not enough. I get 8 on count back, so 356. I need to score 20 to win. And I don't think I can do that by playing through any of these floaters. Yeah, I think my opponent may have pipped me at the post here. I can't see anywhere on this board that I can score 20 points. 13 for Genoas. Can't see anything with the P. I can't go out in column 6. 2 minutes on my clock. I can't go out in column 3. I don't have anything ending with the C. Sockage doesn't end with it. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to play Genoas. 13 points, 361, yeah, and I don't win. Just scanning the board, it's annoying to lose, but there's just nothing. Nothing that is better that I can see. So just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which he does. And the final score, 369 to me, 375 to my opponent, a winning margin of 6 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. So it was me to go fast. Kahua, that would have been the play. Getting rid of KU and H. Kaura was good, so a couple of possibilities there. Horrible rack for my opponent. He plays Zol. Now I play Ho, which is, I think, better than the higher scoring plays because the rack leave is sufficiently better. My opponent's horrible rack leave continues. He plays Wee. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here. Quite a few high scoring spot plays on offer. But I think Mug is fine. These rack leaves of U and NU, not great. My opponent plays Vild. Again, no missed bingo here, which is good. I-12 and Uria. Okay, using the Ho-Ha hook. And I played double A, although it scores a lot less than some of the options on offer here. I am retaining a fairly decent 5-letter set. And this is where my opponent goes into the lead with Wartier. And I have a rack which, well, there isn't a bingo there. And I play Merrill for 31, and that looks fine. It opens the board up. My opponent plays Axe. I have a horrible rack. And Blonde. Okay, well, I played... What did I do here? I played Lob for 29. Possibly Blonde. Better. DLNR, not a good set of 4 consonants to keep. My opponent plays Vang, which is a good play by him, killing the S lanes. And now I play Blind, and that looks fine. My opponent plays Tay. And now I was in a tricky position. I was behind, and I wanted to open the board up. And I did that with Pardy for 16, and I think it's worth the point sacrifice, because many of these plays here do not open the board up. My opponent plays G. And now Frank for 20. Well, I don't particularly like that. What did I do? If, and I still like that it left a pretty decent rack leave and it was a distraction for my opponent. So I still like that play. My opponent plays Fennec. And now I play Trank. That looks best. Horrible rack for my opponent. He seems to have had worse racks than me. He played Dutt. Now I have a great rack. And I played Corsons for 74. I think, in hindsight, I think the B2 plays were better because they're opening multiple bingo lanes. Corsons kills the row B bingo lane and basically provides one bingo lane, whereas a play in row B provides row A and row C. I didn't see a play which got doubled and had the A over the G, but there was octanes and sonance. Horrible rack for my opponent, so I'm 14 points ahead. My opponent's got a dreadful rack, and I still couldn't win. He plays unrips, which is nice. And really, this was the cause of my demise, I think, this dreadful pickup after Corsons. Certainly, there were a nice spot for a Y, and both Ys were still out there. Anyway, what did I do? I played Vig here for 21. And all of these rack leads are dismal, and all of these scores are pretty samey, so I think Vig is fine. And now my opponent plays Toy for a decent score and is 20 points ahead. I have a great rack. I don't see a bingo. Was there one? No, there wasn't. And now I was in a position of trying to outscore my opponent or fish for a bingo. And well, the likelihood is I draw a vowel. Maybe I should have just played the S and made Tranks. Very, very difficult to know. You'd really need to analyse this using Quackle to find out what was best. I played Whist. My opponent plays Yeti. And A7. Jason for 22. Would that have been enough? 360, so 370. It would have been enough. There was a winning play at the end. Jason down onto the end. The anagram of Genoa's, the anagram of the play I made, was available as a winning play. Jason. Wow. Okay, well done if you spotted that. I didn't. That would have been a fabulous way to end the game. Anyway, I didn't see it, and I played Genoa's and lost by whatever it was I lost by. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.